granted. So you're not near the 90 days, you're at the second one. Now, you can make a determination today based upon the facts. If there's a request for further information, or if BWS would like to make a request to come back to you and say, we can get you the information that you asked. I would respectfully request at that time, if it's by then, that the clock would stop and you can reconsider in May. If you want to make a consideration today with the information that you have, if you feel that that's satisfactory, those are the situations. But this is really solely within your discretion based upon consideration whether to grant this or not. Procedurally, it is appropriate to come. You're about 30 days into your 90-day clock, but it does sound, and if I'm using the wrong words, just jump in, everybody interrupt me. There seems to be some additional information that's kind of out there, unless I misunderstood.
There's, I'll simplify what Renee said. We can't get the permit until we have the zoning. This surfacing issue, we will 1,000% comply with exactly what IDEM tells us. We're still not really sure exactly what they want, but whatever they decide is necessary to protect health is what we will do. But we won't do it until we have zoning, because we're talking about $100,000 spent.
Well, I don't expect you to spend the money, but I expect IDEM to come forward and tell you and us what they expect. And we can't make that zoning change until we know that this is going to be sufficient or not.
Okay.
So at this time, I'd like to freeze this time and you give us that information and come back. I'm not saying that we're denying this, because we're not. But I would like to stop the clock until we get that additional information. And knowing the millings process, because we use it in our own highway department, I've got some questions about that.
Sure.
And I'm gonna stop talking and ask the other commissioners to join in here. Bob, you're on the planning commission. I mean, your input's crucial here.
Absolutely, just agree with you 100%, because until we know what IDEM wants or what we want, we're not here to stop you or anything. We just want to know what they want, and
Sure.
the process will be started.
That's
In other words, we could say yes here, and then we get trapped
Okay.
and stop. Not saying anything dishonest or anything
Yep.
in any way, shape, or form, but I'm with Gary. I'd like to freeze this and see what IDM comes back with, because
I mean, I would hope I would hope that they would respond to us. A lot of this is just, emails back and forth between that environmental engineering and
The clock will start when you come back with that information, and then we'll move. If it's a month from now, that's when the clock will restart.
Okay.
So you've got more than enough time. You may have 6 months worth of time. None of us know when that's going to be. As I've mentioned before, we had a problem with creosote in this county before that was a major cleanup, and now it's a desolate piece of property out there that can't be done anything with, and we don't want that again.
Of course.
And I don't think you folks do either.
Well, and if I may, at this time, IDEM has not requested any additional testing as far as land quality, beyond this annual TCLIP procedure. So
Right.
obviously IDEM has this information. If they decide that this kind of testing is no longer sufficient, or if it's not giving them the information that they want, then they will request more additional analysis to be done. And again, in applying for the permit, Blackwood is agreeing to comply with all of the regulations. So whether that's the surfacing issue, environmental monitoring, and that's not to diminish, the history of the county with it.
And we appreciate all that, we really do.
And we also have the stormwater sampling in place, which Blackwood has even volunteered to do more parameters than is required by any other similar industries. So they're really, just on a professional note, like vet rarely encounters a client that is as proactive and as transparent about doing anything that needs to be done.
Sure. And I see that. You've came back, you brought information, you've sent us the information. Our health department has the information. John, is there any more you want to add to this? I know you're having those looked at. You'll give us that information when you receive some feedback.
Yeah, I'll forward the information when I.
Sure.
You said you are doing stormwater sampling.
Yes, sir.
Can you get copies of that for the health department?
We haven't started the actual sampling yet. It'll be an annual thing, which is
When
what's.
you do that, can you make sure that I get them at the health department?
Sure, yeah, I think all results that are provided to IDEM are public record, but I'm sure Black would be happy to provide it.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to tell him, yes. And with John being here, everything that comes to us needs to go through him as well.
Okay.
Okay, he is our health department, he's the one that monitors these things. We're not the health department, he is, so we base our information sitting up here off of our department heads. So please make sure that John Reeves is attached to absolutely anything and everything that you have.
Okay,
And
yeah.
if he doesn't have it,
Find his email on the.
I would ask that you get him up to date with any paperwork, please.
Okay.
But with that being said, I would like to stop the clock on this today till we get this information on the millings, the parking lot, and then we'll go forward. Okay.
And for bids, do you have any objection of any kind to waiving the 90-day rule to get this information?
Okay.
So just to clarify, is just an email from IDEM saying, yes, this is sufficient, is that going to be enough for you, or is it like, because we won't have official approval in the form of a permit?
I think as long as it's in a form of a letter,
Okay.
State IDEM letter, I think that we'll be fine with that.
Okay,
And again, I'm gonna point to legal, he's the one that's gonna tell me that that's okay or not.
But what the commissioners up, it sounds like what they're really looking for is they're just wanting, in essence, a documentation with a signature from the, obviously they're identifying themselves as IDEM, they've reviewed this request, here are the requirements that we expect. Whatever that means, 6 inches, 12 inches, rolls, what the area is. I think what they're looking for is the specific things that IDEM is saying. What you've obviously said you want to comply with completely, they can have that before them, and that would allow them to make a rational decision based upon it. If you get that, whenever you get that, my recommendation would be if you would notify the building as quick as possible so we can get it on the agenda. With the understanding we have to have the 10 days notification for the posting. So even if the meeting, just hypothetically, is May 4th or 5th, whenever the next commissioner, if you don't get that till May 3rd, it would be impossible to get it on the meeting. So it would need to be, whenever you get it, it would be the following meeting that would allow a 10-day period for advertising.
is there anything else that you would like to be addressed in that letter?
I think that that's all we need with the samples that you've given us. And again, anything that you send to us, make sure that you attach our health department to it as well. Okay?
Good.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good day. Next on the agenda is the planning and zoning ordinance for Gerhart and Fritz, and they are not in attendance today. Suzanne, you want to speak on that briefly?
Yes, so with the comprehensive plan being updated, already in the process of being updated, one of the groups that is working with them has, looked at our current ordinance, zoning and ordinance book, and have suggested a rewrite of that because of some issues that they found with it. And so we will be looking at maybe in the next little while of getting that, maybe getting some bids to rewrite.
And right now, we just have the one
We
quote,
just have the one.
and they're part of the comprehensive plan, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, so currently the comprehensive plan is paying for her part, to just give us suggestions, but then this would be a whole other.
And the amount that we're looking at on this particular ordinance to straighten up on our planning and zoning is between $75,000 and $95,000, and doesn't include everything that we need. So at this time, we're not even going to consider it. We're going to move forward. Thank you for the information. Commonwealth, McCormick's Creek.
Morning, I'm Quinn Fortier with Commonwealth Engineers. I'm here on behalf of Jeremy Schmidt, who is on vacation this week. This is regarding the McCormick's Creek sanitary sewer improvements project. What this project basically does is decommissions the wastewater treatment plant currently at McCormick's Creek and conveys all waste from the park to the town of Spencer's wastewater treatment plant. And today here I am requesting approval for the work in the county's right-of-way application for the work that we'll be doing on River Road. So specifically on River Road south of State Road 46, we'll be installing a force main and gravity sewer, as well as a meter pit and a sampler. And this will require excavation in the road, and then it will require excavation in the road, and then we will be doing resurfacing as part of that. So for this application, we were looking for the approval of the application, and then the approval of short-term road closure on River Road. And then since we are making improvements in this project, we'll repair the road pavement to at least an equivalent condition. We are asking that the waiver permit fee that is calculated at $11,901 be waived.
Okay, Greg, I'm gonna let you jump in here since it concerns a road that is in very good condition.
I've worked with Mr. Schmidt in regard to this permitting process. To start with, they only wanted to repave the portion of the roadway that was torn up, which would be half of River Road down to the pump station. Commonwealth did make an agreement to pave the entire road from where they start at 46 to the pump station in the area that is torn up. This road's in good condition. It's probably 5 to 6 years old in regard to the asphalt on it, and I think that that's only fair. I do have to oppose the waiver of the fees. Yes, they are making improvements, but it's my understanding that the commission is not waiving any other fees for anyone else, and we are charging those to other utilities that are making application. So that would be my position, although they have done everything that I've asked, I would oppose the fee being waived.
Thank you, Greg. And the other side of this too, this is the town sewer system going to the state park. Somewhere in there, there's no county, if that makes any sense to everyone. So, and we're a county that's had a financial struggle. We're still struggling, as you heard our attorney go through our finances. I have no problem with the application fee and moving forward with that, but as the matter of waiving fees, I'd make a motion that we do not allow that.
I second it.
Okay.
And all in favor of no fee waiver? Aye.
Aye.
Application is approved.
I will sign off on that, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Highway Department.
Commissioners, we have a lot to come before you today in regard to roadway bids, bridge bids, and also a situation regarding drainage up at Quincy, which I've worked with Jim on. First of all, I want to report this morning that I've had another road grader vandalized. So what is going to have to occur, those machines can't be anywhere. County machines are gonna have to come into the garage every night and then be dispatched out. These machines were in a farm lot where we park all the time. The farmer's machinery was not bothered, but the county's was. Grader's gonna have every ounce of fluid taken out of it. Fuel, depth, hydraulic, and oils before we can continue at all.
Well, I hate to hear that. We get constant complaints of that we can't take care of our roads, but when we're getting, people are vandalizing our equipment, they're making it that much harder on themselves and us, so, it's a shame.
I haven't had a chance to talk with any of the commissioners this morning about this, but, we have several employees that are extremely upset this morning. We may lose 2 operators before this day's out, and they are seasoned people. It's not in regard to wages. It is in regard to an assault on the highway department via social media. I will state that I believe it is politically motivated at this time, but I think there needs to be some explanations, commissioners. And I would ask for a moment of your time for this consideration. This is my official request of the commissioners, that the commissioners and/or commissioner's attorney respond to the citizens in regard to road repair and funding. I feel like my hands are tied right now because I answer to the commissioners, and I cannot respond directly to some of these complaints. They need to come from the commission in which I am employed by. The highway department is in dire need of your support right now, commissioners. Our greatest asset is our employees. Morale is at an all-time low. They've been called everything in the book on social media. Excuse my language, but it's been said that I have no balls because I won't respond. But I do not feel that as your employee, it is my position to respond. I believe that the community needs to be advised of where each and every tax goes, where the new taxes are applied instead of to the roadways, and why some of the decisions are made. I would just ask that you please consider some type of response so we can move forward and attempt to keep our employees.
Greg, you know that I'll respond any way that needs to be handled. I have since the time I've been here. Will continue to do so. Social media, in my opinion, is a cancer to society. There is no, all that is opinions, no truth, no facts. And I don't know what else to say but what I just said. Our county's financial situation was created by a previous auditor, by the fact of not having the access to the financial records to the department heads, including yourself. And we are trying to move forward through this, but we're not out of the woods yet. And again, we have about 9,500 to 9,800 people that support this community with our tax base that supports the highway department. I know people don't realize that, they don't understand that, but it's a fact. So you will get the support you need, as you always have from me sitting here. We have brought that highway department a long way in 3.5 years with equipment, with additional roads paved. And now we're in a political year and this is where we're at, and it's shameful. And I'm gonna stop there and let Bob add anything that he would like to.
Right now, I support Greg, all the employees out there. You all do a very, very good job for what little money that's appropriated to you out there. And I feel sorry for you, but we got about 10 idiots out there that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Sorry to say it, but true but large and stuff. And let them holler. We're not gonna respond to them or their likeness. If we do, we're gonna get cut back. and stuff. And the good people of Owen County will back you 100%. And I'm sorry that you're reading this and taking it personal. I really wish you would not, because we're all better than that. We're better than them. Let me say it that way. The people criticizing, please do not take it. And your employees will get my backing. Greg, and you right along with it.
It is the employees that are suffering right now.
I understand that. I understand that. If I need to come out to the highway department, talk to them, I sure will.
I'd be glad to.
Would that help any, Dakota?
You ain't asked me, you asked the employees.
Well,
Dakota has resigned.
I know that, but I'm just, that's why I was wanting to get his response, because he's done that. I hate that. Huh?
You can only take so much.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We're all human beings and stuff. And like I said, it takes a special person to take that. But you know what? We as politicians, we asked for this. And I'm not gonna run from it. I'm not gonna deny it. But I know one thing. We're not thieves. We're not up here stealing. None of us. Owen County doesn't have enough money for me to steal. Let me put it that way. If I'm gonna go to jail, I want a big amount. End of story.
Bill, you have any comments?
Only thing I know, the county's come along, the highway's come a long way in the last 50, 60 years. 20 years ago, when I was commissioner back then, we never had the equipment they have now. Never had the employees. We only had a half dozen employees. I don't know how many you got now, mostly truck drivers.
We have 25 total employees. That's counting myself, office staff, and 2 mechanics. So in general,
About 20 employees working on the roads.
employees on the road.
And I don't see what the general public's griping about. Been better than ever been.
Bill, and I agree with you. It is. I know it's better now than it was when I started here 3.5 years ago. We have better equipment out there to do the job than we've ever had. And we've tried every avenue that we can. Obviously, we're in the spring season. The roads are definitely falling apart. It happens every year. It's not something new. We fight and struggle to get out of this time of the year to get out there and start patching and repairing. Obviously, you can't do it when these holes are full of water. We went to the extra effort of getting a couple small rollers to roll in these asphalt patches instead of just throwing them in the holes. Been several complaints about that, and we've addressed that.
And that has been successful.
It has been, and everything that we do has been successful over where we come from. I guess if people aren't happy with what they're getting at the highway department, maybe they want to donate some more money to the cause or come to the meeting. And this is where it needs to be, in this room. But you do have the 3 commissioners' support. I think that you have the council's support. Council president's here today. Obviously, I can't speak for her. And I guess I'll ask her here in a public meeting. You know, the YouTube sound's on, our cameras broke this morning for whatever reason, but Polly?
I mean, we are behind them 100%, and I think Greg's done a wonderful job with the highway department. And I think we need to band together, and because they are getting darts thrown at them, and it's not their fault. I mean, like you said, I mean, our financial position's better, but we're not where we wanna be, and, you know, they're doing the best they can with what they have.
And I thank you for that. And again, even as our financial situation gets better in Owen County, it doesn't necessarily get better at Owen County Highway Department, because those revenues are excise tax, fuel tax, wheel tax. It doesn't change unless we're buying more gas and buying more vehicles.
When I think the majority of the public doesn't understand that, they think it just.
And they don't, because they don't come to these meetings or they don't ask the right questions. All they want to do is beat up on somebody. And I guess we'll let them continue to do that because they have the government support that they need. And at this time, that's all that matters. And with that being said, let's move forward and take care of some business.
Okay. Jim, did you get a chance to look at the locations of Quincy this morning?
I'm on the way out. I'm on
Okay.
the way in.
Gentlemen, there's a drainage situation in Quincy. And there's one way to solve that. There has been a drain in, this location before. So it's on Market Street. But 120 feet of that location, is on private property. I have permission from the property owner. Jim said he could write an agreement, to go that 120 feet to get the water where it needs to go. But I will need the commissioner's approval, and Jim will need to proceed. But I think that would help solve the problem. What we did discover, that there is a 48-inch sewer pipe that runs from our roadway to the ditch where the water needs to go that is plugged up, but it's been plugged up for years upon years.
Right.
So, we could do that with plastic. That's the cheap way to go, but I need permission to cross that 120 feet a yard.
Well, as long as the attorney agrees to write the document, everything's in order with that, I'll make a motion that we approve this. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second by Bob, motion by myself, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So here's that back. And I know it's a problem because I've got a lot of phone calls from up there.
Then, I don't have anything else, Commissioners, short of the, bridge documents and road documents that Jim has prepared.
Commissioners, you should have, received packets for bridge number 116 and bridge number 44. The actual bridge, timeline would be as follows. If you approve the bid packets today, the first publication would go in the newspaper on April 27th of 2022. The second publication would be May 4th of 2022. You're putting out a request for sealed bids for two specific bridges, 44 and 116. The actual bid packets themselves comprise of roughly 36 pages. Bridge 116 is Franklin Road, and that's over a branch of Raccoon Creek. Bridge 44 is Wasatch Lake Road, and it is over King Creek. So if those could go out, if the publication goes in on the 27th, that would be the first day that these could also be released from the highway. Nothing should go out until the 27th. These bridge plans have been engineered. There is an engineer stamp on the actual plans and on the bid packet, so it meets the specifications. So the actual specifications would be available at the auditor's office and also at the highway department. There would be two locations for anyone to look at. Then there's a second packet, gentlemen, for 44 and 116. There's 4 documents in there. That's for the actual award. That's the notice to proceed, intent to award, affidavits for contractors, but that would not go out in the original bid packet. It would just be the notice of appointment. So if these meet approval of the highway, if the highway approves this packet, we think it's satisfactory, and commissioners, we could get this started. Then the bids themselves would come back on the May date. They would come back on May 16th of 2022. That's at 6 o'clock meeting. So depending on the number of people who bid, or if the commissioners have time on that day, it is theoretically possible to award those on the 16th and have them start. If there is successful bidders, you would have 3 bridges in 2022, being constructed. One has already been awarded, I believe that's on the Kelly Road, has already been, started construction, and this would be bridges number 2 and number 3.
I'll correct you real quick, Jim, that is on Rocky Hill Road.
Rocky Hill Road, it's Kelly's Bridge.
Kelly's is done, yes.
Kelly's done, Rocky Hill Bridge. Okay.
I don't want any phone calls saying what happened to our
Yeah,
bridge.
what happened? Kelly fall down, yeah.
Greg, do you have any issues with these bid packets in your mind? You ready to send these out?
I do not, we've been over them, worked with the engineer and these are the bridges that the commission requested be put out, so I request that we get these moving.
And before we move forward, if I'm not mistaken, there's one more bridge that has not come to the table yet, correct, out of that? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the 2 bridge packets, bridge number 44 and bridge 116 to go out for bid?
I make that motion to approve bids on 44 and 116.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Dale. All in favor? Aye. So we can get those publications out.
Sheila, do you see any problem, with those dates for the time for notice?
Do them as soon as they get back down today, that way they're been on plenty of time.
These 2 extra plans. Do you have one? I can give these to Bob. Okay, I'll need them.
And then those get signed, and one would be with the highway and one would be with the audit.
Do you want me to sign the ones that we have here? Do you have another set?
Which one?
These?
That's all I,
Okay.
I did not have it before, all I had was 116.
I'm gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna send a set down for our signature, gentlemen.
Okay.
Greg, go ahead if you want to, while we're signing these.
Okay, Jim, do we have our scrabble today?
No, so that's our next topic. I need kind of a timeline, and I also need to come back and get the specifications from you. So if you let me know, when would you like to have that ready, and that'll be the next.
Commissioners, if at all possible, through the plan that we submitted, and approved by the commissioners and council, our scrabble road is resurfaced. If Jim could prepare the paperwork, put a bid packet out by the next commissioners meeting, I would request that we move forward. I have the specifications together, now for that, so we can start that process.
Absolutely. We need to move forward on that as soon as possible.
The bid packet, could be available for the next meeting. This same thing would be on the 6th week. It will need to be published twice. So probably looking at the latest would be maybe the June meeting as far as getting the bids back. So Greg, if you got them either in the first or second meeting in June, when would you kind of foresee the construction actually start? If the sealed bids were awarded in June?
I would like to see it started in August.
August, okay.
I would like to see it completed before school starts.
Okay. All right. I think that timeline would make complete sense, so we would look to get the packet. I do kind of want to stress, this is not a community crossing, grant. So for any of the bidders, it will be specified on here. This is part of the ARP, plan money, that would come out of here. So it won't change anything as far as the bids or really the amounts, but I just wanted to stress that people wanted that the community grants that may be awarded, that's gonna be a whole nother series of roads.
Correct.
So this would be another additional road. This would be 3 bridges and 1 road, already in progress for 2022.
And we've already approved that in our ARPA road plan, so we don't need to move forward with another motion to approve that. We've already included that.
That's all
We just
fine.
need to get the information out, the bid packet. So for the naysayers against the highway, with these 2 additional bridges, or going back to the 3 bridges and this road, we just spent $1 million for Owen County roads. So I guess if you wanna complain, give us a call. Because these roads and bridges that we're just spending this money on, people drive over them every day.
Then lastly, commissioners, I do have two other things. We are going to have to replace two concrete culverts. One 14-foot, one 13-foot in bridge length. We're going to replace those with pipes. One will be on Class Road, one will be on Otterman Church. We also have another issue with a bridge deck on Beach Church Road. Now, this bridge doesn't actually qualify as a bridge because it's 18 foot long. The headers are good. At some point in time, the highway department has replaced the beams. And the beams are good. But the bridge deck was poured about 2 inches thick, so it's coming apart.
Can we put a steel deck on that if the header walls are good and the beams are good?
It's a possibility. I'm working on some quotes with that and what to do with it. I would propose that this bridge stay a narrow bridge just for money's sake, because there's no way to widen it out, other than to build a new bridge, but with good head walls, and good beams, I think a repair is much in order there. So I'm working on, getting something together for you, to observe.
So yeah, you're gonna come up with 2 or 3 different options with it?
Yes.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
then the commission can decide what the best thing is.
And that's, you said Beach Creek Road?
Beach Church.
Beach Church, I'm sorry. Okay,
We may be able to put some of the old Gosport bridge decking down. I've got a couple of plans worked up to where we could pour a new deck, just what's gonna be most feasible.
sure.
And that is it, Commissioner.
Rick, did you want that Braysville speed ordinance, or do you want, that to be taken down?
Let's continue it to the next.
Okay, that's fine, it's prepared, so whenever you're ready, just let me know.
I haven't got my traffic study done.
No problem. So just- And did you want to say anything about this North Cataract Road letter, or is it?
Yeah, Jim, I want you to address that and explain to the public. And I've read it, I've heard about it for 3 years, 3.5 years, I read it again. And I'm not sure that I understand it 100%, so please help us.
So, Commissioners, I was forwarded that a letter came in concerning North Cataract Road, and it's a small letter, there's nothing wrong with the letter, but it was talking about work on the access road to a state institution, and it cites a statute. So, just kind of wanted to clarify that it was
I got it.
North Cataract Road, it's an access road. Does that go to a state park, or what is the state?
It goes to the Kegel Mill Recreation Area.
Okay, so that's good, that would be considered a state park. So, there is a statute for 82357, but that statute is for the NDOT, that's for the state highway system. It concerns the highway, but the statute kind of reads as follows, or lays out. As a state highway system, NDOT itself, the state, may come down here and lay out, construct, and maintain roadsides by parks and highways to connect the state highway with the state institution. Before connecting that highway, the state institution must adopt a resolution for construction. So the state would be very much involved on would they want to start this type of project. Now, NDOT may cooperate with the county highway department and inform them what's going on. But NDOT, according to the statute of 82357, NDOT shall undertake construction and maintenance responsibility themselves. They would do that upon the request of the Department of Natural Resources. Natural Resources and the institution would want this type of construction. They petition NDOT to do this, and it requires the approval of the governor of the state of Indiana. The governor would be involved. The expenditures that would be incurred for this project from NDOT are out of the MVH account before any distribution goes out. So this is funded by the state. And before an expenditure then there must be an appropriation. So we, as the county, I mean, we'd be notified, I mean, as a courtesy, and they would let the highway super know. But this is funded by the state of Indiana, state resolution, the governor, DNR, and the institution. This is not something that the county would just go out and do, on your own if it involves a county road. So the statute is correct, and if the state is willing to do that, please, I mean, there would be nothing that I'm aware of that you would say.
So as we get complaints on that road from the citizens of Owen County, we need to have the highway superintendent get a hold of DNR or the state.
Right, this is a state DNR, state institution, would go. This is not within where the county would just go out there and create access for.
Well, from what my understanding is, and I could speak a little bit to this, not as the highway superintendent, just because I've been around a while. At one point in time, many years ago, the state of Indiana did take on that project. The state of Indiana did acquire properties through that area and rebuild that roadway. I can't tell you exactly what it was, but that did occur. Many citizens will tell you that the county agreed to keep the road at such a standard over the years, or to the same standard the road was laid. I can't speak to that because there are no records in regard to that at the highway department. May have been done, may have been not done.
Correct.
Bill, our Purcell surveyor, he's got some information here.
I was one of the people, whenever the state bought right-of-ways, that had done a wonderful job of determining what those right-of-ways were worth. It's my understanding the state did that road, brought it up, and then gave it back to us to take care of after that point. But the South, or North Cataract Road is a lot wider than the original road that we had as a county road.
It's wider than any road we have in the county.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because, and like I say, I was one of the land commissioners that worked on negotiating with the landowners about those things. I don't remember when that was, but it's my understanding they would bring it up to snuff, and then after that, it was our baby, but they would fix it correctly the first time.
According to the statute, what attorney just read, it's the state's responsibility, not ours. And I think at some time, I'm gonna say that we were bullied into fixing that road because we chipped and sealed it as a county. And it's going back several years back that we did do that, from information that I've received. That road does have some issues right now. And again, it looks like according to our county attorney and the state statute, that the state of Indiana DNR is gonna have to get involved before that road moves forward.
Well, if the commissioners wish it, for us to make some type of contact, I think the best thing to do would be to draft something through Jim and send it to them, I would assume.
I mean, it'd be, especially, I guess, I'm not aware of any records, I'm not discounting that that's probably what happened, is that Owen County take it over, but nothing's been presented. The letter references the statute, but the statute is clearly about state access and state construction. It doesn't say anything, the highway, I mean, we can ask any of those areas, are you wanting to, what their pleasure would be, that's not a problem. But I wouldn't have any idea what the response might be.
And the letter states that that's out of the Crawfordsville NDOT location, not the Seymour location, so maybe we should start there and make some contact and say, hey, do you have any record of this particular road and area? And if so, then they can send that to us, forward it to Jim, and we can move forward with it.
I'll do that.
Why don't we touch that first? Because I think we all sit here thinking we got a bunch of loose ends, and I think we need some real answers.
I can do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Greg, can you give me real quick, it don't have to be in this meeting, what's the cost gonna be to transport those graders back and forth every night back to the highway garage? Because that's just taken away from road repair, hole patches, culvert replacement. The next meeting, bring me that information,
I can
please.
do that, it's gonna be
Thank you.
time and fuel.
Yep.
And it won't be cheap.
Yeah, and I realize that.
Why don't you get some of them game cameras?
And we've discussed that.
And, you know, maybe we catch so many people.
We can do that.
And I think if we have to, we'll look at the finances here in the commissioner's control to pay for that expense. Let's get a quote on some of those as well.
Okay,
I know that we have equipment parked all over the county, from excavators to backhoes to pavers. We'll put a stop to it. At least we'll have some evidence.
thank you.
Thank you. EMS. Morning, Chris.
I don't have a whole lot to talk about today. The Tahoe, of course, we got that back in January. We're still sitting there waiting on a light bar and a siren. With the supply chain issues, they just can't get their hands on.
Back order everything, yeah.
Yeah, so it's only got 400 miles on it, but
Well, it looks nice.
we're not, you know, running it up and down the road or anything. It is sitting out here today, but, yeah, that's what I'm waiting on is a siren and a light bar. So, the other thing I have is May 15th through the 21st is National EMS Week. For years, I've been trying to put together some sort of banquet. In 2020, we had it planned, had our venue and everything, and then COVID hit. So, we haven't had one for the last 2 years. Well, we've never had one, but we were planning on a couple years ago to do it. This year, I think it's gonna happen. So keep on your books or in your calendar, either May 18th or May 19th. Our medical director, I think, is going to be a guest speaker. And I'm trying to nail him down on what day he can.
Open to the public and,
It won't be open to the public.
Okay.
It'll just be a EMS, you know, just.
For your staff,
Yeah,
okay.
We'll
just trying to get some information on what you're working on.
yeah, we'll, you know, we'll feed them and give out awards and such stuff, like an awards
Sure.
banquet type thing. So,
Our commissioner's allowed to come.
absolutely, absolutely, that's why I'm telling you about it. So, yeah, that's all I've got, really, unless you guys have anything for me.
Sounds good. Has our run count slowed down any at all?
No.
Still the same, okay. So COVID
No.
didn't necessarily affect it, it's just where we're at in today's society.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, last time I looked, we were above last year's count on that date, that was.
And I think we all had hopes of going back the other way. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
Our citizens are getting older.
well, that's another thing too. Our community is getting older.
yeah.
That's part of it, yes. You're right, Bob. All right, Chris, thank you.
I know I am.
Kathleen, I knew I seen you walk in here. How was vacation?
It
Not-
was very good.
not long enough.
I'm back. It was not long enough. Chris mentioned EMS week, so I'm gonna go on and mention National Telecommunicator Week is next week. It is April 10th through the 16th. So typically what has happened is I've just done stuff on my own for my department. If anybody would like to stop by or send anything, they're more than welcome to do that. Cause we are there 24 hours a day, so there will always be somebody there to say hi to.
What week was that again? I'm sorry.
Next week,
Next week.
April 10th through the 16th.
Those people need recognized as well, sure.
Yeah. So update on some of the projects that we have going on. Radio project was completed, prior to me leaving on vacation. While I was gone, they did come out, do some tweaking with some radios, working on some things. And from my feedback that I got this morning, that project is completed. We are now just monitoring the system. If anything comes up, then we'll notify them. I'm also going to be reaching out to the engineer and seeing exactly what they did while I was gone to ensure that the project is completed to our liking and what we were told was gonna happen. So I do not see that it was not completed the way we wanted it to be completed, but I'm just gonna follow up since I did not get to speak to the engineer that was on site last week. CAD server move did occur. We do still have some follow-up items from that, and that is working with the state. IoT, getting IDAC's connection, the integration with the CAD server, to get that up and running. Since I am back, that is gonna be my focus to get with Mike with fourth phase, to kind of shore up anything that we need to do to ensure that this gets completed, quickly, so.
I was informed that there was a few loose ends with some vendors or different things, so, yeah.
Yeah,
But we're a lot better than we were a month ago.
yeah, so a move has happened, so,
Okay.
and that is mainly the two items that we've been focusing on the last month is getting radio project and CAD server moved. So we have not started anything new. We're gonna take a little break, make sure all of our programs and systems work the way we want them to work before we jump into anything else, so.
Quick question for you. With your pay rate increase, has that helped you? Has it slowed down the process of eliminating employees or replacing employees?
Yeah, so I do actually have a new employee that's starting today, and that we will still be one short. However, we know we have one that's gonna be leaving end of May, 1st of June, because they're gonna be graduating from nursing school, so then that puts us two short, so I have a continuous application process going on where I'm always taking applications, and I have some follow-up to do today whenever I get back to the office.
But these are issues that were already coming to the table.
Yes, but these were things that were already coming to the table. I've not been advised of, any new people deciding to leave in
So
the
you
last
feel that
few
it's helped your
minutes.
department then?
So yes, I do feel
That's
that
all
it
I'm
has.
trying to get at, that it is worth the effort and the expense to maintain our personnel.
Yes, yes. So,
Thank you.
anything else?
I have nothing. You gentlemen have anything?
I think that's all.
You got our numbers if you think of something else.
Yeah, well, you know, I was gone for 2 weeks, coming back 8 in the morning here, kinda trying to get back on track.
All right, other elected officials and department heads. Bill, you have anything? Polly? Sam, I'm sorry I missed you. I skipped right over Sheriff Department.
National Police Week is, coming up in May. May 15th is actually the day that President Kennedy back in 1962 set up for fallen officer memorial. It'll be that following week. I don't know exactly the date yet. I don't want to do anything that's gonna cross over Chris's path, so I'll get with Chris to make sure but we will be having it. It'll be here on the courthouse lawn, like normal. We haven't done it for 2 years due to COVID restrictions, but this year we'll be having the fallen officer memorial there on the courthouse lawn. As far as the jail is concerned, you know, we're gonna be having a meeting here at the end of the month to go over some specs from our mom and those, to see what avenues we have as far as the jail is concerned. We've lost 5 jail staff officers. We're 5 short. We don't have to, you can't get help. And so.
That's deputies and jail staff both, correct?
No, that's just jail staff.
Just jail staff, okay.
Yeah, I've lost 2 road officers. I have another one leaving 1st of May. Then another one's in the process of being transferred to BPD, so that'll be happening probably the next couple of months too. So other than that, we're holding our own, staying afloat, and paying the bills.
All right. Well, hopefully we get some good news here on the 18th with this, moving forward with this jail situation. All right, and I'm sorry I skipped over you.
No.
Jack?
You asked me to bring the prices that I have for the,
Do you have copies for all of us on that?
yes, I do.
Okay. I mean, really, it's not gonna take much of your time or ours either. We'll just take a look at those so we can have them and we can.
There's also a price for, the radio that the gentleman. He quoted a radio, he sent me everything in one email, so I just printed it all out. And that is not for a light bar mounted on the exterior of the truck. He's supposed to be sending me that anytime. I really expected to see it this morning, but it'll probably come in this afternoon. But I did not have that when I come over here.
Chris, just since you're here, on your vehicles, do you mount those on the outside or the inside, or?
The light bar? We've got light bars mounted on the outside.
That's what I was thinking.
Lights and fenders.
Right,
There's certain
but most of yours are up on the top,
Yeah,
that's, okay.
criteria we have to.
All right.
Is that a standard for the EMS?
Inspector, yeah.
Well, we talked briefly with you the other day about, holes in the top of the vehicles and things like that. Most of these vehicles end up in other departments within the county. They're not necessarily sold out of the open market, so that doesn't seem to be a problem as far as if we have to put a plug in a hole, that kind of thing, because we've dealt with that in the past. But I think there's a considerable difference in the cost, and we'll find that out once you get that. But I think once we get that, then we can probably go ahead and move forward. You guys have any questions for Jack, or? Yes,
I was gonna bring about Jack's truck, the one he's got now. I know some people are interested in it. So do we need to put in for that? We sold our brown trucks, we're in need of just a truck.
Okay, I know that you and I talked, you and Greg were the only two, well, the coroner put in for it, but I don't see what a 5.5 foot bed's gonna do to haul a body in, and it's an open pickup, so I wouldn't even consider that. So so you and Greg, you told me here a while back you thought you didn't need it if the highway did, but you apparently changed your mind, or?
Well, I mean, if I need, so can me and Greg just work it out then, if he needs it or whatever? The one thing I do, if Greg does get the truck, I need the radio that's in Jack's truck.
Sure, all that stuff would come out of it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get with Greg and me and him work on that.
That sounds good, and then once this other vehicle's on the road, then we can go through the surplus, and if there's any department that needs it. I mean, obviously, we're a few weeks away from wrapping all that stuff up, so, all right.
And maybe longer than that, we can't get parts.
Yeah, if we can't get light bars and all that kind of stuff. All right, thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think that's covered everyone. Jim, do you have any other comments? Madam Auditor?
Cyber, where are we at with the?
Jim is to have that done tomorrow. I hope he has it done today. He spoke with John Parmalee last week. I spoke to him also in a phone call and told him we had to have all that information by tomorrow. So I will follow up on that when I leave this meeting here this morning.
So then we'll just inform everybody when we get.
Exactly. Anything else?
Appraisers.
Working on those. I've got contacted Vincel in Monroe County and working with one here to get some appraisals on the properties that we had spoke on. Once we have those to the table, we'll bring them to the meeting. Also looking at the overhead expense of the armory, what it's costing us in lights and phone and internet service, insurance. I got John to give me that information. So I'm tallying all that together, and it doesn't matter if it's $5,000 or $50,000, it's a dead expense to the county.
Or just give it to somebody.
Well, that's the other thing too, but even when we get appraisals on it.
A bid is to bring in some money.
And the attorney's looking into it amongst the millions of other things that we've asked him to do to see whether we can sell it, what our situation is on that, because that time's coming. But I agree with you, Dale, if we can't sell it, we'll donate it to somebody to eliminate the expense to this county. if that's our option. I mean, obviously, we're gonna do whatever we legally can. I'd prefer to sell it, turn it into revenue for the county. But we'll deal with that when that time comes. I guess we're at commissioners' comments if you're finished, Bob?
We need to make any comment about this.
Yeah, go ahead and bring that up if you want.
I'm gonna say we had an employee get hurt in the parking lot. Not gonna name her whatever, about some hours, and I think we'll go right ahead and pay for it. Commissioners, because she was getting her exam done and everything else, I see no trouble with it.
Let's go ahead and,
Yep.
make a motion on that. Do I hear a motion to approve the 3-hour time for this employee?
I make a motion, we approve that 3 hours time for our county employees.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Bob, a second by Dale, all in favor?
Aye.
Sheila will take care of that. The only other comment that I have is we have officially hired a maintenance man. We've officially had him in the building and filled out his paperwork, so we're ahead of the game. This is the farthest we've been in, since December. The gentleman's name is Joseph Stephen Gray. He goes by Steve. I will have him an email set up this week. He's starting Monday morning on the 11th. Please welcome him. Let's try not to run him off. We need a maintenance man bad. And I've asked Sheila at some point to put out an email to the departments on what repairs you need, starting to get those work orders in. Obviously, he's going to be bombarded. We haven't had a maintenance man for over 3 months. Actually, it's been about 4 if you include December, because I think it was about December the 5th or 4th that we lost ours. So please be understanding with that. We'll give him a day or two to get organized down there at the maintenance shop and figure out what he's got to work with and those type of things, and then we'll put him to work. So anyway, I wanted to mention that. And again, his name's Steve Gray. He comes to us from IU. He was there for 11 years as a residential maintenance man. So looking forward to having him. Other than that, I can't think of anything. I do want to say we try really hard here to do the right thing for Owen County. And it really disappoints me that people can't come to this meeting and sit in this room and voice their opinion, but yet they can do it on social media. And that's upsetting to me. And I appreciate the people that are sitting in this room today, that you come here as a citizen to be concerned about what's going on in this county. We're not ignoring anyone. We're doing everything we can to help in every avenue. And I wish people would respect that. And with that, motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Second. I started.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.